Hey guys, so I know you can't really see me because I'm in the dark, but I just wanted to talk about the Markeita McCleary tragedy. It's so sad. Like, people aren't watching the things in the news. Matter of fact, this wasn't really publicized. So a lot of people probably don't even know about what happened to Markeita McCleary. And you know why? It's because she's African American. Her story is so grandiose. It should have been a story that should have touched the entire American people. But it's not publicized because she is African American. And in America, Americans don't believe Black Lives Matter. And it's really true in all aspects, not even in just in relations to police officers. But Markeita McCleary's tragedy should have been just as publicized as the Christopher Shannon Watts tragedy. But sadly, really no one really knows about it unless you are on Facebook or YouTube sometimes. That's just sad. Only Black bloggers really reported on this tragedy, and it's just unacceptable to how horrible and evil America is. I would equate America more close to Sodom and Gomorrah. They're so evil. Americans are so evil and so full of hatred and racism of African Americans and other minorities, and it just really disgusts me. But I just got off topic. So let me just kind of wheel back around and talk about this beautiful, beautiful woman. She was only 28 years old, and just this past October 18th, on a Sunday, and I really believe she went to church that day because her father is a pastor in Texas, and I know that she would go to church to see her father preach. So I know I'm believing in faith that at least the last thing she did was go to church and worship God. That really would give me a lot of tranquility and peace in this tragedy. But her husband and partner of 10 years, if not more, but at least 10 years, murdered her cold blood, shot her at most 10 times in front of her 8-year-old son. The evilness, the calculated, disgusting, horrific actions of Ashton Neroes to murder this woman that he married, that he at least, I believe, got into a relationship when they were in high school, when he was about 18 years old, I think, and just murdered her. And the motive was because she wanted a divorce. And why did she want a divorce? Because he had been having an affair. And according to people who knew of them, some people said they saw signs of him cheating throughout the 10 years in the relationship. But at least, who knows, Markeita caught wind of him cheating, and she finally had her last straw. She was going to be divorcing him. There was other rumors that, she had moved out the house, or not moved out the house, but was not staying at the house. And when she returned to the house one of the days, he was with another woman in the house. Another neighbor said they saw him pacing back and forth one of the days, hiding on the phone. Could have been on the phone with another woman. But this man, just the nerve of him to murder this beautiful woman. And to think, Markeita was incredible. She was an amazing mother. She did like little TikToks with her 3 kids all the time, and she was just so, you could tell how in love she was with her kids, very supportive. She even like matched her husband with her kids and everybody. They all had matching clothes all the time. You could see their photos. They were like the picture perfect family, literally picture perfect. It's like people see them online and they would be like, this is goals. This is exactly what I would love to see if I were in a relationship. And for it to end so horrifically, it's just, wow, it really makes you second guess. Do you really want to be in a relationship? Because you really don't know your 10-year partner. This woman was with this man for 10 years. And there were signs, though, that he was very controlling. If you look at some of his videos, he's very controlling. You can tell that he was over-possessive. There were some signs of verbal abuse in the relationship. I don't know if there was physical, but I know there was verbal. There was one time he called her dumb because she didn't, I guess he was trying to basically control, mentally pressure her into really, like, I guess, going on lives to promote her hair business. She had this hair business and eyelash business called All That Glitters, which is kind of ironic because that saying is all that glitters isn't really gold, or something. All that glitters isn't gold, basically. And this situation, that explains the situation. It's so ironic. Everything is ironic in this whole thing. Because seriously, her relationship looked like it glittered. Everybody thought it was amazing. Everybody thought he was the most amazing father. Everybody thought, you know, they were the most amazing family. I bet there were people in that community, women per se, who were probably some of the mistresses involved, envied this woman because she was very fashionable. She was very cute. Her hair was always done nice. Of course, because she was a hairstylist. And not only that, she was almost about to graduate nursing school. And this woman was about to be a nurse. So she was a hairstylist. She had her own hair business. She could do great eyelashes. She was a fashionista because she dressed all her kids up, had their hair nice. They all dressed alike in most of their pictures, even the husband and everything. And sadly, he murdered her because his philosophy is, if I can't have you, no one can. This man, and the thing is, even though she was doing all these great things, everybody wondered what he was doing. All we could see online from him is that he was a tattoo artist. So that was his little side hustle, was being a tattoo artist. But there was no evidence of him going to school. There was no evidence of him even having a job. It looks like he was living off of her. I don't know where I guess his income was coming from being a tattoo designer, but that's about it. He really didn't have anything. So I felt like, from what I looked at, like he was really living off her. And you got to be careful, men and women. If you get someone that doesn't have their own, like they just like financially dependent on you, those are the hugest indicators that they could potentially murder you one day because they don't have anything. You're all that they have. So without you, they have nothing. So what do they have to lose to murder you? You know, you got to date people who have their own, you know, their own in life. They can flourish on their own. They can financially support themselves. They have their own careers, because people can end up getting obsessed and murdering. And I really don't feel like he loved her. I feel like he saw her as property, and he was losing control of her, and he could not take the thought of losing control of her, and he murdered her. And it's so horrific what this guy did. And what really, really makes me angry is that people go around and they victim blame this woman. They're like, oh, see the signs, and you cannot blame her at all for anything. First of all, she was keeping her family together. She had 3 kids with this man. They were together for 10 years. They were a very beautiful couple. She was a woman of God. She was keeping her family together. And the thing is, I don't think she foresaw him killing her. And the reason why I don't is because at least like 2 days or 3 days before the incident, there was a shootout with another guy who was in the neighborhood where she was. And in the video, she was on live and she was saying, what could bring someone to murder someone like this? So I could see, just by hearing her say that, I don't think she could ever think that her husband would do something like that, because she just thought that even the guy who was on the shooting spree would never do such a thing. So I don't think she foresaw him killing her. And then people are like, oh, well, see the signs and get out. People are so stupid when they say that, because when a man or a woman sets out a purpose to murder you out of a fit of rage and possession, there is nothing that you can do to stop it. I don't care what people say. You can sneak out. You cannot come home that night. But believe me, they are going to find a way. They will catch you off guard. You can move to another city. They will find you. When they make up their mind that they want to kill you, believe me, they're going to do it. And sometimes, especially, it's even worse when you don't foresee it. Like with her, she didn't foresee it. I don't think she did. I think she saw red flags with him being a cheater. He was controlling. That was an indicator. But to the point of him murdering her, I just don't think she saw that. I don't think she did. I think she saw that him being like controlling, and that he wasn't really faithful to her, and that's why she had enough. But I don't feel in my spirit that Markeita knew he was going to murder her. And I just can't even imagine the horrific scene, and the fact that the little son, Puda, and he's also named after the dad, he's Ashton Jr., was there to see his mother murdered. I can't even fathom what he went through. The terror, I know he was devastated. That's not even the right word. He was mortified. And I know the fear in her, and I know the shock in her. Like, I can't believe the man that I devoted 10 years of my life to is murdering me. Like, I know she was more in a state of shock. Like, I can't, like, are you really doing this? Like, why? Like, she probably was like, why are you killing me, you know? So this is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, October. So everybody, you guys in a relationship, I just pray for you guys, just to keep your eyes open, you know, be prayerful. I pray for all the women and the men. I don't blame people like everybody says it's victim blaming. I don't understand people these days. People are so ignorant. People are so dumb. Sometimes I just don't like when people say certain things, because they don't even know the whole intricacies of a relationship, or what people are going through in their relationships. But I just pray for Markeita's family, and even for Ashton's family, and I even pray for Ashton. I know people are like, why would you pray for him? Because he's a human being. What he did was evil. It was unacceptable. I don't condone anything he did, and he was horrible for what he did, but he's a human being. I'm pretty sure he probably feels terrible for what he did. Even though at the time he had a fit of rage, he probably feels awful about it now. But he's an evil person, and he needs to be held accountable. And I hope that they do not give him any type of parole, or he needs to sit in that cell for the rest of his life, and he needs to think about what he did. And he needs to see her face every time he goes to sleep at night. And he needs to hear her words that she spoke before she passed away when he was murdering her. He needs to hear those words every single time. Because no one has a right to take a life. No one does. It's unacceptable. None of us are God. Although we are made in the image of God, we are not God. And none of us should even have the audacity to kill anyone, especially someone we love. Like, I don't get it. This thing scared me so much. It just made me more skeptical of relationships, even though I'm not going to say, oh, I'm never going to get in a relationship. But just be more prayerful and watchful of people, even though you can't really predict it. You just got to be prayerful, because you really can't sometimes. People's emotions are unpredictable. Not all. There are a lot of instances where they are. There's a lot of guys that are very predictable, but I just, for some reason, don't think this one was. I think he was controlling, and he did have some narcissistic tendencies and overbearing, and he was verbally abusive, but I don't know if he was necessarily physical to her. But yeah, God bless you guys, and have a beautiful night.